What's up everyone, Lord Ryujin here. Thanks for watching. I have another YouTube video for you today. I decided to just prop up my camera rather than just hold it and just talk. So the point of this video is that recently I've seen articles, I think it was actually just Player's Essence or something like that, that was just sort of showing off this thing on game trailers that Jeff Keighley was talking about, and I already believe Jeff Keighley is pretty much just a tool. He's pretty much just paid to have his opinion. And look, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like Nintendo, but honestly, the way that he looked in that video really looked like he was just bored out of his mind and didn't want to talk about it. And that's perfectly fine. Maybe you're talking about it because that's what your producers say you have to talk about. But if you're going to talk about things, let's at least research it. Let's at least look into it. Because I felt like every single person on that panel was a moron, in a sense. Either that, or they were also being tools. They were being paid to say and act the way that they did, because they seemed like they had no real education when it came to what they were talking about. So, one of the things that they talked about in that was, is Nintendo making a comeback? The answer to that is no. Nintendo never left. They've had the Wii U out for 2 years, and they had the Wii before that. They never left. That's just like saying, hey, so is Sony making a comeback? Is Microsoft making a comeback? No, Microsoft never left. They just had a difficult year with their Xbox One. That's all it comes down to. And yes, sir, the last year has been good for Nintendo. They've released Smash Brothers, they've released Mario Kart, they've released a lot of good quality games that, you know, people have bought, and rightfully so. But to say that Nintendo's making a comeback because they had a good year is basically just like saying, well, but there was that first year where they couldn't sell anything, so they should just go out of business. The reason why I think that that's kind of ridiculous is because, well, anybody that knows Nintendo knows that that's always how it works. The exception being the Wii because of Wii Sports, and it just, you know, flew off the shelves. You couldn't find it for like a year. But then what happened afterwards was the Wii became a slowly declining system that took first-party support to keep it alive. And that's basically what happened with the Wii U. They tried to have that first year, at least this is how I feel. I don't know 100%, of course, not working with Nintendo. But just based upon what I've seen from them, it seemed like they tried to use that first year to really show people, look, we all about third parties. Really, we are. Here's Sonic Lost World, here's Zombie U, here's all these third-party games. And then when it wasn't selling, they're just like, okay, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Super Mario 3D World. Here's the first-party titles. You know? And that just seems like how it always needs to be. Nintendo is the only company that I know of that can be enigmatic like that and can survive solely off of their first-party support, simply because if they announce a new Zelda, people are going to buy it. You know? If they announce a Smash Brothers, they're going to buy it. But here's why I stopped watching that video completely. Because I started to realize just how stupid these people were. They were sitting there talking about, like, why Smash Brothers and Mario Kart 8, why aren't they nominated for Game of the Year? And it's just like, the woman on there said that Mario Kart 8, and I don't know it word for word, but she was basically getting around the bush that Mario Kart 8 is a serialized series. And, you know, because it's like the 8th game in the series, and we've done it before, and we've done this, that, and all down the line, that it can't be Game of the Year. And I just wanted to just sort of reach through my phone and slap her, because just like, look, Skyrim came out and got nominated for Game of the Year. Do you know what that one is? 5. Elder Scrolls 5, as in a serialized game series. I believe also a few years back, I believe we also happened to nominate Uncharted 3. And I believe we also nominated one of the Assassin's Creed games. So it's kind of funny how you can say that. Now, if you want to go and say, well, Mario Kart didn't get nominated for Game of the Year because as beautiful as it is, very polished game, it's a racing game, so That's fine. That's perfectly fine. You know? But to say that something isn't getting Game of the Year because it's a serialized franchise or something like that means that, okay, so we can't nominate Bayonetta 2. We can't ever nominate an Elder Scrolls game. We can't ever nominate a Zelda game. We can't ever nominate an Assassin's Creed game. We can't nominate anything that has a sequel. Ever. It has to be all original content. And that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I can almost guarantee you that Uncharted 4 is probably going to be amongst the Game of the Year nominees when it comes out next year. I can almost guarantee it. Now, I didn't completely finish watching the video, so I don't know what else they talked about, and I really don't care. Because when that kind of misinformation gets flung about, I feel like you're not being a fair panel. You know, you should have gotten somebody like me, or you should have gotten somebody else on that panel that could have kind of stood up for Nintendo and said, no, look, this is how it always is. You can't say that Nintendo is making a comeback because they had a good year of software launches when the PS4 had a good year of hardware launches, and now it's starting to kind of dwindle down because everybody's either buying an Xbox One or has already bought all the games that the PS4 has. So they're not really selling that many systems. I mean, it's starting to kind of plateau, you know, even out. So that doesn't mean that Sony's a bad company or that their sales are horrible, that they should go out of business. It just means that they plateaued. The Wii U had a rough launch because there was no software. And I believe this is something that I and other fellow Nintendo enthusiasts said. We said, wait for the software. And lo and behold, as soon as the software began to come out, people bought it. I mean, Mario Kart 8 came out, and the sales of the Wii U skyrocketed 600%. I mean, it's something that we said before. You know? So, and I'm sure that with Smash Bros., I'm sure it probably skyrocketed even more. And Zelda will probably skyrocketed even more. And Star Fox will probably... I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's the software. This is why I never, ever understood these people. They're just talking about, oh, I'm going to get an Xbox One for no reason because I want to... What games does it have? I will buy it when it has games I can go, yeah, I can sit down and spend at least 40 hours playing that. Yeah, then it's worth it. That's how I am. And I would like to think that that's how the common consumer is. I know that there's always going to be loyalists. I mean, I typically buy Nintendo hardware straight out of the gate, no matter what. But at the same time, I had to wait for a specific bundle for the Wii U in order to actually justify me getting it, because I wanted to have at least 1 or 2 games to play. You know? So, that's just how I feel in a nutshell. I mean... I already talked about this in a previous video. You saw what it took for the Xbox One to sell. They had to include games with it. They had to come out with more software and lower the price. Nintendo is finally getting to a point where I think they're comfortable. I mean, the 3DS had a rough launch as well. And now it's one of the best-selling portable systems out there. And it wasn't because it's bad hardware. It was just because it didn't have any software. And now Nintendo has the software. Now they have the games to back it up. So now people are just like, now they're starting to take notice of the Wii U. And they're starting to buy it. I mean, that's all there is to it. Now, does that mean that it's going to continue to sell? No. Just like every system, it's going to plateau. They might have a couple of sales here and there. Especially when new games launch, or people have to replace their systems, or they come out with a new bundle, or they happen to... I don't know, at least like a special edition that ups it to like, what, 50, 100 gigabytes or something like that. Stuff like that more likely will help sell it. But that doesn't mean that it's going to continue to go up. Microsoft is not going to continue to go up. Sony's not going to continue to go up. Eventually, everybody that's going to buy a PS4 is going to buy one. And everybody that's going to buy an Xbox One is going to buy one. And it's strictly going to come down to software. Here's Fable. Here's Uncharted 4. Here's The Legend of Zelda. Here's Halo. Here's God of War. Here's Metroid. You know, it's going to come down to software. What games can you offer me? And I know that I went off on a long rant, but I don't like seeing stuff like that. It sort of hurts me a little bit on the inside, because it's just like, are we really that obsessed and that into Sony and Microsoft that we don't even acknowledge Nintendo? And then when they start selling well, they're just like, Nintendo's making a comeback. But they never left. The Wii U's been out longer than the PS4 and the Xbox One. And yes, it had a rough start, but I believe that that gave them time to get that name out there. Wii U, Wii U, Wii U. So that way when they started to release the games, they're like, hey, remember that Wii U? Yeah, it's got good games. And in a way, if you look at it, Microsoft did the same thing. I mean, they didn't really have very many titles under their belt when it first launched. And neither did the PS4 really had a bunch of ports like Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed that came from the PS3 also. So, but now in 2015, you're going to start seeing Bloodborne and Silent Hills and I think God of War is planned to come out and Uncharted. You're going to start seeing the big AAA titles coming out from Sony. I can guarantee that the PS4 is probably going to either skyrocket or it's going to get a lot of recognition. And to say that, oh, well, Sony's making a comeback, that's just how ridiculous that sounds to me. Nintendo never left. They always had the software. I just believe that the first year was trying to get third-party developers on board to, you know, and then when Nintendo, of course, they always try to reach out to third-party developers. I don't see why they just don't instantly do like they did with the GameCube and stick with first-party, because third-party will never support you, Nintendo. I'm sorry. I don't care if you come out with the most powerful system on the market. I can guarantee you third parties will never support you. I can almost guarantee it, because you make quality games and you have a certain requirement for games to be on your system that third-party developers don't want to put that work into it. They just don't. They just want to copy some code. It's half done, but fuck it, and copy it over to 4 or 5 platforms and release it. Why do you think Assassin's Creed Unity never came to the Wii U? Do you really think it's because of the graphical capabilities? Because again, Xbox One is here, Wii U is on a higher level than it. They could have released it, but they didn't, because it was crap. And even then, Assassin's Creed 4, people talk about how it's the gimped version that ran sloppy. Ubisoft could have put in the extra effort to make it work great on the Wii U, but they didn't. And that is what I'm talking about. I really think that when it comes to developers, they're just not going to even try. I don't care how powerful your system is. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe your next system, you'll see the light and you'll come out with this powerful machine that blows everything out of the water until the PS5 comes out. And then people won't even look at you anymore. Because remember all that attention that the Wii U got until Sony uttered those little words, PS4? That's just how I feel. But I could be wrong about that. I could be mistaken. But make sure that you share your thoughts. What do you think about this? You know, I don't think Nintendo made a comeback. They never left. They just needed the time to polish their games and release the software. And now I think it's going to make a comeback. I think 2015 might even be the year of Nintendo. Because this year was all about PS4 and Xbox One. And I really think that people are just like, you know what, I'm tired. All the games that come out on Xbox One, they're glitchy, they don't work, and then they eventually get ported to PC. So, and with PS4, we're going to have to wait another year for these games to come out, and I already own a PS4, so I really do think that because of Smash Brothers, that more people have gotten an install base for the Wii U, and we're probably going to start seeing the games come out for it, and hopefully 2015 will be the year for Nintendo, but time will tell on that. And I see by my timestamp that I've gone way over what I meant to talk about. I just tend to get on a little bit of a rant and on a talking spree, and I apologize. So if you've listened to me this long, I appreciate it. Just make sure that you share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure we keep it civil, guys. I really do not like to have any internet arguments. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.